Hey guys, it's Steve. I'm redoing this because I was an idiot and didn't do it right the first time. We are doing JV training for self-storage. So there's a couple things you're going to want to open on your thing. You're going to want the standard link for wholesale seller basic team. This is for any kind of property. You're going to put your name in here. You're going to put your last name. You're going to pick self-storage, property type self-storage, and fill in anything you can on this. A lot of this is aimed toward the residential world. So when we're using this for self-storage, there will eventually be a branch. When you pick self-storage up here, it will branch out to a whole separate set of questions. We're not there yet. So we're answering whatever questions we can, and then we're uploading a video if there is one. Probably not. We're uploading files related to all the questions you're going to ask. So you're going to open up a notebook. You're going to open up Google Sheets. You're going to open up a piece of paper. And eventually you're going to answer these questions into some sort of a document. You're going to upload that document here. You're also going to email me that document. And you're also going to text me and say, hey, there's a document. So 3 ways that we're going to find out this document is here. We've included questions for self-storage in what we've sent you, questions that we have scripts. I definitely want to be on the calls until you're comfortable. That's kind of a you option, but self-storage calls are a little bit different. So we then have, and I hope you guys see this when I go over to it, we have lists of self-storage facilities that we've already picked the markets. We've said this is the town we want. And those lists include the facility address, company address, company phone number, website, as well as a little further down, some of them have owner phone numbers. So I'll walk you through the 2 calls, which one for facility, one for owner. And you probably end up making both of them. You also want to open up Google Street View. And the aerial is important. First of all, this is the telltale shape of a self-storage. If you're ever aerialing over Google Street View for any other reason, and you see that, definitely ask me, or definitely put that down as a possible self-storage facility to call on. I don't know why they put the dot way back here and not up here. Now, a couple other things that's unusual here is I don't see an actual road getting us to our self-storage. I see gravel, no doubt. But I don't see an actual, it's not here along the road. So this looks like it, and there's some RVs and stuff parked here. Vehicles of some kind. Are they stored RVs, or is he running an RV park? No information. But you can see how all of this is not paved. This is beautifully paved. The actual facility looks beautifully paved. So my guess is, although this one looks for several reasons to be a good target company, it doesn't look like it's going to be easily bought, because it looks like he's got many business going on. He's got a couple tanker trucks over here. He's got this storage building here. He's got these other buildings doing some other things with other kinds of trucks, and then he's got a self-storage operation back here. So I like this because it does not have a Google dot on it. There's nothing saying James Smith self-storage. That is a sign of a not wonderfully run facility. Okay. And there's no Google doesn't have anything on it, so he's not on Google. Now you're also going to find out that we go to his website, and he has a website, winner chicken dinner. That's great. That puts him on the map of a reasonably run facility. However, it's not a good website. And why I say it's not good is scroll to the bottom. It's run by Wix. Wix doesn't do self-storage websites. When you click you look at the facility, it looks nice. It's paved. The buildings are clean. They're in well-maintained shape. They've got indoor climate control, and they've got outdoor drive-ups. They've got outdoor parking. I would like to own this facility, no doubt whatsoever. But another tick against them, and for me possibly being able to get a good price on the property, is I can't rent a facility from here. Get a free estimate. Well, I shouldn't be estimating anything in the self-storage universe, okay? 10 by 10s are $100 or whatever they are. I have 10 by 10s left. So I've done a little bit of research and know a little bit about his property before I call them. Then I go back to the list and I pick the facility's phone number. And I pick up the phone and I call the facility, and I don't know who I'm getting. Am I getting the owner? Am I getting the dog catcher? Am I getting some random, stoner 19-year-old kid who just happens to be sitting at the desk? Now, before we go there, we'll look at what does the region tell us. We'll scroll out a little bit. Number one determiner for self-storage is rooftops. They have to be clients. Ain't a lot of that. There is over here. Down this way, there are a good number of self-storage. So there's a good number of rooftops. Now you can use Google Maps measuring tool, which is the right click, and you got about roughly 2 miles. So that's totally fine. 3-mile radius is pretty standard. So all right, but this 2 miles is also not nothing on a residential. Now you'll also see that when I had some zoom setting, it identified the self-storage facility. It did show up here with a Google Dot. I don't see other ones. No, this is Oneida, New York. I know Oneida, New York is a good target for self-storage. I know I want to buy self-storage up there. Possibly even buy warehouses for self-storage. So you might take a few seconds and kind of fly over. Does anything else strike you as being self-storage shaped? That's retail shaped, we'll call it. Warehouse shaped, not likely self-storage shaped. You're then going to go and you're going to go to and you're going to do Street View. And you're going to look at the facility, get an idea. So that's probably their climate controlled storage building. And there's the RVs and the storages. I see very little paved. I see no signs of lighting, no signs of security, no signs of gates, no signs of fencing. No problem. All you're doing is taking notes. You're not making a judgment call. There is no judgment call. Then you're calling the facility up. And you're saying, hi, facility. Yeah, I'm in an unusual situation. Hi, this is Steve Franco with REI homepage. An unusual situation. I just bought a house, and I think it's going to be a hoarder house, and we're doing renovation. I'm going to need a bunch of units. I don't know what exactly I'm going to need. So what do you have available, and what are your rates? So this is your way of finding out, what do they got? How empty are they? How full are they? What do they charge? Getting the conversation. Okay, all right, great. And this is where my question is a little unusual. Looks like you're a locally owned facility, right? Oh, you're U-Haul. Okay, so never mind. I'll forget the second part. If you're a locally owned facility, I was going to ask, would you be able to put me in touch with your manager or owner? Because I'm also a self-storage buyer, and I like the community, and I'm curious if something out here is looking to sell, or maybe you know somebody that is. So what you've done is you've come in as a client and gotten some facility information. And then you also flipped the game and said, hey, we might want to buy the property. Now, have you blown up the first one with the second one? Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I don't think you've hurt yourself. You just, they might say, well, he either lied about the first one, or he's really just a buyer, or maybe he's both. Irrelevant. You're getting information. Now, if you get transferred to the owner, or you use the phone number in the spreadsheet for the owner, and I'm hoping you can see this, but it's the owner's phone number for that particular one. You're then going to call the owner. Hi, John. It's Steve Franco with REI Homepage. How you doing? Oh, cool. Yeah. So I see you own Cobham Self Storage and maybe some other stuff. Okay, great. Well, I'm also a self storage investor, and basically, your market is one of the ones that we're interested in. And, glancing at your facility, it looks like a great facility. Wasn't really sure if selling was something you wanted to talk about, or maybe you've got, somebody is looking to sell, or there's some development you want to partner on. Okay, well then, if you want to sell, that's great. So, as you know, buying self-storage, you've either bought or built this. A lot of questions go into it. So I don't want to bother your day. Is there a better time? Okay, no, great. So, I mean, what I'm going to be wanting to know, and feel free to tell me what, you want NDAs or whatever. By the way, NDAs are non-disclosure agreements. I'm not going to steal his information. NDAs are non-disclosure agreements. I want, unit sizes, primarily, let's start with income expenses, stuff like that. How is it managed? How many units of which type do you have? How occupied are you? Stuff like that. And then the script will walk you through the rest of the questions. So what we've done in a very brief focus period is we've walked through, you're getting the data from the spreadsheet I sent you, most likely. You're getting the questions from the questions I sent you. You're getting the script from the script I sent you, or you're using it on your own. And by the way, we are definitely wanting to be on these calls with you until you feel totally comfortable. Self-storage is a different universe from regular. And you got a little bit of a glimpse of how to talk to the facilities and how to talk to the owners. And also, like, if you are just driving along and you see a facility, let's say, hey, Steve, I saw this facility, kind of looked dilapidated, kind of looked independent, whatever. Let's talk about whether we want to call them. I mean, I'm fine having you call them. I don't care where. If you're doing a deal in a certain market, find out if there's self-storage out there. We have a fairly advanced software that tells us, or that helps us determine if a market is worth going after. So, so that's basically how we start with looking at what is going on for reaching out to self-storage facility owners and self-storage facilities. So hopefully this helps you. I'm going to shut the thing off now, the video. Hopefully this helps you get going on. Oh, I got to do that. So send anything out, don't I? Getting going on making phone calls for self-storage. And what you're doing at the end of it, I actually want to put this back on the stage, is you're going back in here and you're putting all of what you just learned into a Word doc or a Google Doc or something. You're uploading it here, or you're providing a link to it. So all of what you know, and then you're sending me it all, that whole information sheet, with the owner's phone number, the owner's name, who you spoke to, how you reached them, put it all there. So in that one document, everything I need to know, and you're shipping it over to me. You're texting me saying, hey, Steve, I just emailed and informed you, blah, 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 of this facility. Take a look and tell me what you think. This is where you're going to tell me what you think. But right now, you're not worrying about knowing how to analyze these. They're very complicated. You're just wanting to you're just calling them and getting me in touch. The downside of self-storage is there are longer time burns in terms of how long from meeting to closing they can take longer, because they're commercial, they're bigger, they're fancier. And we will pay more. We will pay based on the spread on the property. We're saying $3,000 to $5,000 comes into hunting for homes, and you get your spread from there. But it all depends on the value of the deal. But basically, they take longer calendar days. You do less. Because really, once you've done this part, you can watch the rest of the process, but you're not involved in the rest of the process. Anyway, any questions? 570-798-7051. Thanks.